We're gathered here today for the climate action protest in Lowestoft at the top of the town. Top of the town. So, Louise, why do you think protests like this are so important?
I think it's really important, and I'm here in a personal capacity, but I am a member of the Labour Party and I'm also a district councillor, to actually listen to the audience engagement. What are the principal concerns of the residents of this community, and what would they like us to be doing as local politicians? So it's really important to actually listen as well. I obviously have my personal views, but I'm here with an open mind, and it's an opportunity for people of all political persuasions, and indeed none, to actually voice their concerns, and for us to listen for a change.
As a young person, why do you think protests like this today here in Lowestoft are so important?
It just helps spread the message, really, doesn't it? Get more people into it and make more people know.
People! Power! Power to the people!
Power to the people!
People got the power!
People got the power!
Tell me, can you feel it?
Tell me, can you feel it?
Get stronger by the hour!
Get stronger by the hour!
So I've got Sonia here speaking to me at the climate action protest, and so Sonia, specifically, first of all, just a question for you. Why do you think protests like this here today in Lowestoft are so important?
It's so important to show the population, residents, local people that we care. I think sometimes, particularly for young people, it can seem as though the politicians are on one planet, literally, and we haven't got a planet B, by the way. We've only got this planet, and we've got to look after it and treasure it. But what we've got to think about here is the importance of people saying, yes, politicians are in Glasgow and the negotiators are there, but it's also about ordinary people, and people power is very, very important. Politicians do listen.
So why do you think protests like this here today in Lowestoft are so important?
Well, we're trying to get everyone to consider the environment and things like the ice melting, which obviously has an impact in Lowestoft, and also nature is, we are nature, we come from nature, and obviously we return to nature. So we spend our lives thinking we're not part of nature, but we are, and I think that's a great point to make. I'm interested in mental health and walking in the forests as a form of mental health therapy, which is actually being practiced now, and there's a lot of work being done on how we can improve our mood by being at one with nature and feeling the vibes from nature. So that's my way of putting it. I'm an artist as well, but at the same time, the impact of climate change caused by fossil fuels and our lack of interest in the resources, which are finite, needs to be, as the people are saying, we need to reverse that, and at the moment we're not really putting enough effort into reversing the effects of the carbon emissions caused by fossil fuels. And Britain, as an instigator of the Industrial Revolution, should really be right at the front of proving that we can do it. We're not really doing enough in this country, and as we're part of COP26, we should be doing our utmost to fly the flag, if you like, for Mother Nature.
How good do you think it is to see political differences set aside for protests like this for a much bigger issue close to home?
I think it's absolutely essential. We're in an existential crisis at the moment. Unless real change happens with COP26, and to be blunt, I think there's massive failure of leadership at the national and international level, that actually local is the opportunity. And the only way to show that is through local unity. So, of course, people come here with different political viewpoints, and many people are dyed-in-the-wool, signed up political members, but many are not.
So why do you think protests like the one that we've been filming today are so important?
I think primarily for me it's about solidarity and getting together with people who understand where you're coming from on the issue. So it's really hopeful. So I think sometimes there's a danger of just preaching to the converted, because obviously we all agree on the fact that there's a climate issue. But I do think at the same time it's very visually impactful when you march up a high street and you've got a loudspeaker and stuff, and hopefully people watching will think, oh, what's that about? And be curious, find it on social media, come and have a chat to you and stuff like that. So I do think it is important.
It was certainly drawing some attention in the town centre today.
Yeah.
And how good do you think it is, or not, for protests like this, for political differences to be set aside for the bigger picture?
I think it's really important. So I think ideally we don't want to stick to just speaking to people or working with people in what I'd think of as left-wing parties. I'd probably see myself as left-wing, but we want to work with everyone, because the people in power at the moment aren't one of the left-wing parties. So we need to work with whoever's in power to make sure that the change is made. It can't just be certain people or people that we agree with more generally. So I think it needs to be representative. And I also think we need to, I'm in Extinction Rebellion, and I see it as not a political movement. It's about the issue. I'll work with anyone of any political alignment if it means pushing the agenda of improving the issue of the climate crisis and making the change that's needed. So for me, it's really important to represent everyone.
And finally, how do you think we can encourage more people to think about climate change? But also, to add on to that, how do you think we can get more young people involved?
Oh, that's the thing, isn't it? I'm starting to see very young people join my group in London, which is really nice. We've got some people who are 14 now, which is really nice to see. I do think young people are starting to sort of join the group and understand the issue. I'm seeing a lot of people studying environmental science and things like that. There is a danger a bit, sometimes we put it on young people, like they're the ones who need to make the changes, but we're the ones who've ruined everything, so we all need to work together. But to get young people involved, I guess it's more about trying to modernise our approach a bit. Sometimes I notice that we're not very good at publicising things on social media and things like that. We probably need to get on there more and just get to the spaces where young people are, maybe in schools and things like that. And I saw a lot of teachers today, which was really nice. So if we can get teachers to be talking to their students about things like this as well, that would be great.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Holly. Okay, I'm going to call Louise. Before I do, I just want to thank everybody who has come here today.